Hello again. It's that time of year where I come up with my revision video, and I'm taking a slightly different stance on it this time, and a couple of things really are different. The first of all is that when I delivered this in front of my live studio audience this morning at Assembly, I did have four of the upper sixth explaining how revision worked for them, and it's obviously better to get them in to explain to everybody how it works. But they can't be here now because they're off doing other things, so I'm afraid it's me. So that's far from ideal. But the other thing that I wanted to talk about is really the picture that I've got there. It's trying to put revision in context, and well, you're entirely right to ask what I mean by that. Well, this is what I mean. I think we've got to look at revision as where it sits in the scheme of human evolution. So if we go back here, I don't know how you are with your history. I don't know how your understanding of the evolution of the species is, but the first Homo sapiens, there we've got those fossils dating back to about 300,000 years ago. The current brains that we've got settled into shape about 100,000 years ago. First evidence of agriculture 12,000 years ago, and first permanent settlements 10,000 years ago. Now, that's our evolutionary context. Now, obviously, we go back many thousands years before then, 500,000 years really of evolution to get us to this point. And I trust we all agree on the concept of evolution. Good. So we've been evolving for 500,000 years, let's call it that. And then the first public exams in the UK officially are recorded as 1858. Now, what does that mean? Well, I think this is critically important, because what it means is that there is absolutely nothing natural about what we are doing now. Oh gosh, no idea how that picture got there. But what I want to emphasize is that there is absolutely nothing natural about this whatsoever. We have been evolving for 500,000 years to be hunter-gatherers, to be curious, to be active, to be out doing stuff. And revision is the very opposite of that. I know that pretty much everything we're doing is pretty much the opposite of that, but we need to look at focus on revision. And what that means is that revision is an unnatural state of affairs. And that's why I think everybody can get it very wrong. Whether it's a question of doing too much work or not enough work, we can agree that revision is an unnatural state of affairs. And so we have to try to trick our brains into doing it effectively. It's a game like all the other games we play at school. Revision is a game, and accepting that it's an unnatural state of affairs is going to help you, I think. Well, first of all, accept that it's, in bonkers, but also realize that it's not necessarily coming naturally. And if it's not coming naturally, that's not a commentary on you. It's rather a fact that, or rather it's attesting to the fact that you are normal. So revision is a weird old thing, and we've been through a lot of this ground before. If we're thinking about getting your head around it, having that positive mental attitude, accepting that this is an unnatural state of affairs and that it's deeply unfair, that you should be spending your Easter holiday working while everybody else is stuffing their face with chocolate and doing other stuff, there you go. Sorry, that's what it's about. But the next stage in the process is you going off to university or doing whatever else it is that you want to do out there. What's happened to this? I don't know what that was about. But you've got to have that positive mental attitude that's going to get you through that. We have to accept the existence of present bias. That's out there. That's, again, something that's 500,000 years in our evolution. And so expecting teenagers to sit down and concentrate all day on abstract goals and 20, 30 years hence, that's not going to work. So we need to work around that and make sure that we've got goals, achievable goals to get over that problem with present bias. And fundamentally, all of that comes down to having one big goal, that big number of hours that you're going to hit as you go through this revision process. So yes, it's unnatural, and so we need to have the right mental state to get us through this. And there are other things that we can do as well. We have to recognize where our strengths and weaknesses are. Is our weakness actually starting revision, or is our weakness knowing when to stop, knowing that we've done enough and we've got that drop the pen moment and we can go off and we can recharge our batteries or do whatever else it is that brings us back to that equilibrium. I can't emphasize the notion of place enough, that sense of here is where I work, here is where I don't work, and so we have that sense of transition from one to the other, which makes life that much easier. Again, it's that tricking the brain into a situation whereby you can work effectively, where you can sit down and concentrate for extended periods. Again, this is not what we were designed to do. This is not what nature wanted us to do. It didn't want us to sit here and study physics several hours a day for 3 weeks at a stretch. But this is the position we're in, and I don't want to have a pop at physics teachers. They're so like us in so many ways. Schedule, get yourself a schedule. That's going to help you. Again, it's about helping you getting over the natural state of affairs, which is to rebel about this and go and check what's under that rock and check whether or not those berries over there are edible and whether or not that really was a saber-toothed tiger that you heard earlier. So all of this is about tricking your brain into effective working. And these are various ways in which we can do. These are various ways of actually doing the revision. Again, we've covered these in other videos, but find something that works for you. Find something that enables you to work effectively. There's no right, no wrong, and no right way of doing revision. Otherwise, we'd all have discovered the way to do it a while ago, and everybody would be doing the same thing. That hasn't happened. So find something that works for you and work through it. This is one structure. Go onto the internet. 2 minutes of Googling later, you're going to be drowning in revision strategies. They're all out there, but find one that works for you and stick with it and adapt it to what it is that you need. But first and foremost, know where you are going. How long are you going to work for? How many days are you going to work for? So this is our term. We finish on the Saturday, and then we go back on Tuesday. We will have those days off because that's the Easter holidays. Those are bank holidays, and it's only fair that you should be doing that. And then these are Saturdays and weekends where I don't think you have to work. If you are working constructively for these days, that's 14 days. 14 days of constructive work, and we'll come back to that in a little while and work out just how much you reckon you can do in that time. Again, this is where I got my upper sixth formers to talk to everybody, and it makes much more sense if they're delivering this. I'm not going to try to deliver it, but basically this is what Grace worked out, and she's clearly been listening to my videos and my advice, and I'm very, very pleased about that. She had an 8-hour day over Christmas. She gave herself breaks. But because she worked consistently across Christmas, she was able to work 102 hours, and that was amazing. And she was up there in front of everybody telling us it wasn't easy. Of course, it's not easy, but you get your head down, you do it, and next thing you know, you've knocked off 102 hours and you've changed lanes. And she will attest to the value and the effectiveness of that program for her. We then had some tactics from Luke, Archie and Jody. These were some suggestions from Luke, and again, it's all very, very sensible. I urge you to read it. I'm not going to try to deliver it. I can't capture Luke's inimitable style, but it's all good, sensible stuff. And again, you'll find tactics like this all over the internet, and just find something that works for you. And if it doesn't work, adapt it. More good stuff here from Archie. All perfectly sensible stuff. Find that method and stick to it. Jodie was interesting. She said that she approaches every subject differently, but again, that's what you're entitled to do. This is your revision. All you need to make sure is that you're revising effectively. You've got your schedule, you're putting in the hours, and the results, I can promise you, will follow. And that was a big thanks to them. So coming back to this particular slide here, so we've got 14 days of effective work. Where do you want to be at the end of that? How big do you want that jump to be? Because this is in your hands. This is in your control. However many hours you want to put in, that's how it works. So you saw earlier that Grace had put in 8, and she had an hour for lunch, and she had 15 minutes here and there. And if you put in an 8-hour shift over these 14 days, you're going to put in 112 hours. And that is going to be a lane changer. Or if you're not changing lanes, it's going to keep you in that top lane. It's going to keep you in the fast lane because everybody else is chasing you. Be assured of that. But what we're looking at here, Easter break, it's not a holiday. I wish it were a holiday, but that's not unfortunately how it works. It is an opportunity for you to change lanes or to consolidate your position in the fast lane. It's up to you, entirely up to you. So you've all got revision guides. I'll be sending revision guides to parents as well. That's about it from me. I wish you all the very best for the Easter break. Do speak to your tutor and do tell them what your target is, and then come back and reflect on how you managed hitting that target. That's going to be a really, really useful trick as well. So anyway, there we go. Get those targets to your tutors, and I'll see you next time. Take care now. Bye.